Yes, people, welcome back to our JTV. It has been a while, but before we get into anything, let's hit the intro. Yes, people, welcome back to our JTV live Q&A. It has been a while. It's been a while. I've been on two channels probably to talk about Arsenal things. Big up Cannon Chatter and obviously big up my adopted family, as I call them, it's the same old Arsenal. Yeah, so firstly, let me get some thank yous out of the way. Big up to people in the chat already. Say your virtual hugs, hellos. Firstly, massive love and thank yous for the amazing feedback and people tuning in during my Euro 2020 content. Um, it was something I just needed a break from Arsenal, to be honest with you, and I kind of put it out there that I will come back. It's just yeah, Arsenal can sort of drain you, man. And I kind of felt towards the back end of last season, even when we were still in the Europa League, to be honest with you, probably around the last 32 quarterfinal stage. And I kind of knew in my back of my mind, I felt a bit drained from watching Arsenal. Um, it's not a great time to be an Arsenal fan over quite a number of years, to be honest with you. And it's kind of it feels a bit more exacerbated. But big up to the people in the chat, man, who's ever's there. Using there. Let me get the screens on. There you are. My Cornwall besties there. Georgina, much love to you. Hope you're enjoying Edinburgh or wherever the hell you are in the UK. But have a good time, be safe, and we will definitely speak soon. The link up will happen one day, trust me. So yeah, guys, I'll keep talking for a bit. But big up to the people. If you're watching, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also, you just reminded me, thank you so much for getting me to 700 plus subscribers. Um, I would have liked to have got there quicker, but I made the conscious decision probably September, maybe October last year, that in terms of the volume of my content that comes out, I wouldn't quit the channel because I've put too much work into it just to give it up like that. But as for many of you people, in the last sort of 18 months, life has changed immeasurably. And, you know, things do happen outside of YouTube world. So I knew I'd still put the content out, but it's not as been as much as it was when I first started it, my channel in June last year, June the 9th to be precise. But yeah, I've 700 plus. Let's get to 800. Let's get to 900. Let's get to 1K and kick on even more. There's more to come, people. But my content is no good without the viewers, without the subscribers, and for people to feel engaged in the content. But yeah, guys, man. Yes, of course. And not forget Spotify and Anchor. I will put that on there for my audio listeners, and I'll put a little bit of this live Q&A on my Instagram, IGTV. So big up to people in the chat. Robin, much love, bro. Of course, Robin, thank you for the sponsorship for my London Landmarks Half Marathon run. Big up to all the people that sponsored me. My original target was actually, I think it was 450. I was supposed to do the London Landmarks Half Marathon run, obviously last year, March, but obviously because of COVID and then it got postponed. So massive love to you guys, man. The support was amazing. So I think at the moment I'm just shy of two, just under two and a, just under 2,700. So yeah, the amazing donations. So guys, big up to you and thank you for that. Guys, yeah, Arsenal. Let's get to Arsenal because the last sort of thing that's been on my brain is obviously doing the England stuff over the Euros and seeing England make a major tournament final for the first time in my lifetime and in many people's lifetimes. But Arsenal, where can I start? It's an interesting one because I wasn't too confident come the end of last season, um, and then coming into the new season, that in terms of transfers, that Arsenal would actually put a smile back on the Arsenal fan base's faces. But before I talk even more, guys, get your questions in, because like I said, Q&A time. I like to see, like to give you my thoughts on Arsenal's current predicament, the preseason friendlies, the incomings, the outgoings. There's not been many, and just the current state of Arsenal, man. Whether it be the Cronkies, Edu, Vinay, and obviously our man at the helm, Signor Mikel Arteta. And he's big up Anthony in the chat. My Instagram Arsenal family. Hi Albert. Should we win this Friday against Brentford? But would Arsenal should win this Friday against Brentford. Sorry, mate. But want more and better signings. If I'm going by social media alone, forget the match day going fans, just going by social media alone, I would say if Arsenal lose on Friday, wow. For those who have social media, put your phones on silent because it will be lively. Very, very lively. That's what I will say. Anthony, I'll touch on the signings. I'm just going to take a question from Robin. Big up to Anthony, man. Instagram Arsenal family. Robin Grant, should Uber start the game? Should Uber start the game as he starts on the left? Robin, you know what? Robin, you see my content enough, and G and Anthony and people who are watching this now, whether that's on Facebook Live or on YouTube. With Aubameyang, there's different ways you can look at this. I'm not no body language expert. Let me make that very, very clear. But there's either a number of things going on, and I'm not going to talk about last season for a specific reason. I'm going to talk about from what the feedback I've heard from you Gooners in terms of the preseason. I made a conscious effort not to watch the preseason games because I want to judge Arsenal based on their first 2 months of the season in the Premier League, and how the team set up, how the team progress, what our points tally is going to be. There's numerous different things I could take into consideration. But Robin, I'll come to you in terms of Aubameyang. There's a number of things going on here. Either I've heard people talk about the system Arsenal play and him playing on the left. Aubameyang hasn't been here for 5 minutes. He's been here this is his 4th year. If I've got that right, guys in the chat? He doesn't need time to bed in. His 2 most high seasons in terms of scoring goals for Arsenal were him coming from the left. I think the issue you've got here is if he doesn't score, he doesn't give you anything else. And I look at him and I understand, I take into consideration in terms of the things that were going on off the field in terms of his mother and family and anybody. Listen, when it comes to family, I can tell you guys, I've been very open with life outside of YouTube. Family comes first, man. And the mum means everything. But I look at him, I look at the missed chances, I look at the body language, I look at his involvement in the games, irrespective whatever position he plays. And he just looks like someone to me who doesn't want to be here. But to me, it's that plain and simple. There were obviously when he signed that big contract, yeah, I was pleased he stayed. I wouldn't say I was going out there making videos and doing carnival, Notting Hill carnival dancing and making music videos in terms of him staying, because for me it's a little bit cringy. We wasn't signing a new player. We signing a guy on a new contract. I just thought it was a bit overkill. But mind you, you know what? There were some Arsenal fans that I know personally that said we should have sold him. People think, what? Crazy still Aubameyang? Listen, we've had bigger players in Aubameyang at this football club that we've moved on. Let's make that very, very clear. But there were a few small voices that said, you know what? We need to move him on. So, Robin, you know what? He will start. Should he start? From what I've seen in a 4-2-3-1 formation, no, I wouldn't start him. And that's my honest truth. That's my God's honest opinion. I think it goes beyond even what formation you play with him. For me, I look at someone that doesn't want to be here at Arsenal Football Club. People talk about the captaincy. You could put that as a case, but I don't even think it's really that. I generally don't think it's the captaincy. I look at someone that doesn't want to be here and that is not enjoying his football. And when you combine them two things together, whether you're 31, latter stages of your career, 23, it's not a good sign. Not a good sign at all. G, let me read your comment. I'm trying to keep cool knowing we do things late, but there is 20 days of the window left and the season starts in 2 days, so a little worrying. G, you know what it is? I think not all of the Arsenal fan base, but they get hoodwinked. What I mean by that is I've heard for the last 6, 7, 8 years, maybe more, this summer window is a big summer window. Even when we was in the Champions League, we've got Champions League money. Players are going to be moved on. None of that stuff has happened under two different regimes. We can blame the old regime of Gazidis and Wenger staying too long, but I have to look at the here and now. Sinelli's gone, yes. Husfami's gone, yes. We got him Richard Garlick, yes. But I was on big up same old Arsenal for bringing him on board. Yes, thank you guys for your congratulations. I'm going to be a regular fixture on there on the Friday show with my guy Potsy. I'm going to be hosting tomorrow at 8 p.m. Special guests. I will not announce just yet, but will be a good show. Looking forward to it. So yeah, buzzing to be invited onto the same old Arsenal platform. Much love to the guys if they're watching. But I said I was on same old Arsenal last season on the Thursday show. It was a preview show before, I think it was either a Europa League game, it was either the last 32 round game or it was the last 16 game. And I said that my biggest concerns are, you look at the three key senior positions at Arsenal Football Club, and the manager, head coach, whatever you want to call it, CEO, technical director, all three are inexperienced. People as Arsenal fans, we know the plight that we're in. We know the systematic failings of recruitment. But we have three key senior figures that are all inexperienced. Why was it ever going to be a good summer transfer window with everyone having those credentials? Yes, people will say, whatever you guys do for a living in terms of jobs, we all have to start somewhere. I understand that principle, but in the predicament Arsenal Football Club were in, it's a massive, massive responsibility for Edu and more so Arteta for all the dead wood to go and then to bring players in. That was even when we was in Europa League, and also now even more so we're out of the Europa League, or out of European football, sorry, for the first time in 25 years. Why was that going to be a recipe for a good transfer window? It never was. Never was. So G, it's more than a little worrying. It's more than a little worrying. More than little. So guys, let me go through some of your guys' chats on the chat's lively, man. Big up to you guys. Smash the like button if you haven't already and subscribe to the channel. But before I go to more of the comments, you guys should know what to do by now. Big up to you guys, man. Guys, let me know if you hear any feedback issues, but let me go to some of your comments because there's quite a few people here. It's quite a few of you guys in. Yo, another big support. Who gets sacked first either between Paddy V and Arteta? Ooh, you know what? I'll come back to that. It'd be interesting to see how Vieira gets on. He's got some decent players to work with there. It's a shame that Aberi Eze is obviously out injured for the foreseeable future. Is Zaha going to stay? Is he going to go? It'd be interesting to see how Patrick Vieira gets on, actually. He's had a bit more experience in terms of starting out earlier than Arteta, but you come into the Premier League, it can eat you alive, man. But it'd be interesting to see how he gets on. But interesting. Good question, Yo. I'll come back to that. Big up RJ Arsenal vlog, my guy in the chat. Big up to you, man. My bro, man. Doing great things, man. Robin G, thanks for the conference. Yeah, I'll try my best, mate. I'll try my best. Anthony, Albert Transfer News is saying that Arsenal offered Lacazette to Roma so we can get Tammy, and we're going back in for Trippier. I'll come back to that, Anthony. Big up Mark in the chat. G, so true. That's what's so frustrating over a year, trying to get rid of some of these guys. Very true. Let me go back to Anthony's point. He was saying, Anthony, the thing with Arsenal is we're very we're not proactive. That's definitely the case. That's on and off the pitch. I probably wouldn't even say we're reactive. The thing is, there was a rumor last season, wasn't there, about, I think it was the start of last season, that Roma tabled a £30 million offer for Lacazette and we turned it down. Again, me personally, I said, Anthony, and people in the chat, you might agree, disagree. I said, coming into this season, I don't want to see a Aubameyang and Lacazette at the football club. One has to be moved on. Has to be moved on. The key word, has to be moved on. Cannot go into another season with... Listen, I'm not saying these guys are terrible players. Let's have it right. Aubameyang's had a phenomenal goal scoring record. He had a season last season that he's never had in his career. Lacazette's a good striker, but I think his best return for goals in a season at Arsenal still isn't over 20. I think 19 is the best in all competitions. And I think that was in Emery's first season when we got to the Europa League final, if I've got that correct. But Lacazette plays better in that formation, the better all-round striker, but his finishing is not up to the standard to take us to the higher echelons, whether that be top four or pushing for a league title, which is definitely not going to be the case. So for me, one of them had to be moved on. And with the Tammy Abraham's links, you know what? I said it to one of my boys. Just I can see it. I can see the move happening. I think Tammy wants to stay in London. He's not going to get a chance at Chelsea with Timo Werner there, and also Chelsea signing Lukaku. He's not going to get a chance. He's going to be surplus to requirements. I can see the move happening, but my only issue is that if, for example, for argument's sake, Tammy Abrahams is coming to Arsenal, for me, two of the strikers have to be moved on. Two of them need to be moved on, not one, two. Because I can't see a situation where you're going to bring in Tammy Abrahams. You've got an out-of-form Aubameyang, but you're going to keep Lacazette, even though he's been pretty decent in pre-season, and keep Eddie and sign Balogun to new contract. There has to be some give there. Has to be. Who else is there? Let me see. Less than 100 million for Madison, not worth that. I don't think. No, nobody's worth 100 million. Even though I like Jack Grealish, he's not worth 100 million. Kane's not worth 120, whatever Spurs want for 150. Ridiculous. Too much sentimentality because they're ex-players. Robin, I'm glad you touched on that, actually. About the sentiment. I've banged on about this for quite a number of years. And you know what it is? You guys are on Twitter. Big up Mark, Georgina, Shane. You're on Twitter and Instagram, I think. I don't know what you guys think. Tell me if I'm wrong. I've said it for years. There's too much sentiment towards these players. Way too much. Arsenal Football Club, for a long, long time, have lost the art of being ruthless. Wenger had it, lost it. The club had it, lost it. We're not ruthless. You know, are sections of the fan base, and I always use the key word sections because I'm not labeling every Arsenal fan the same, because we have to let go. I wonder if it's almost as if we have the players' interests at heart more than what's best for the football club. And that should not be the case. I was asked about Joe Willock last season, for example, right? I was on Big Up Jess, she knows Arsenal, subscribe to her channel, amazing channel, doing big things. I was on there and I think she asked me about Willock. It might have been, I can't remember what Premier League game it was, it's completely gone out my head. But actually, you know what? It might even have been when we played Newcastle and he couldn't play because obviously us being his club. And so, yeah, that would have been before the second leg, before the Villarreal game, I think, off the top of my head. And I said, if it's true about the rumours Newcastle being interested in Willock, well, they're talking about 25, 30 million or 20, 25 million. Take the money and run. Those were my exact words. It's not personal against Joe Willock. I'm shocked that he's been at Arsenal that long and that was his first loan move. That's not acceptable because that's on Arsenal in terms of his development. That he's only had one loan move. He's at the stage of his development. To me, that's crackers. But take the money and run. It's nothing personal. Arsenal are in a predicament where, and it's pretty obvious to me, again, you guys, drop in the chat if you think I'm wrong. It's obvious to me looking at it from what I see in terms of Arsenal's policy, in terms of their recruitment, incoming and outgoing. They was heavily reliant on players going out and bringing in not loads of money, but some money. That's not happened. It's difficult to sell players that are on the wages that they're on. And on top of that, it's difficult to sell players that nobody really, really wants. That is the mess this football club is in. You know, Arsenal, we should not be arguing the toss about the fact that, you know, the amount of money Granit Xhaka might leave Arsenal for, or what we should get for Bellerin, or what we should get for Willock, or what we should get for Nketiah. If it needs be in any business, I come from retail background. You have to take a hit. You have to. The problem with the Xhaka thing was we was actively trying to move him on. So if you're actively trying to move a player on, why is the football club gonna have to pay more than they have to pay? They don't have to, because if we're trying to flog him, of course Roma can go, you know what? Is 15 mil, 17 mil. If it was a case of Roma came in for him and if Xhaka wasn't so much, he wasn't on the market, for example, or wasn't available to buy, or you try and test the waters, that's a bit different. But the way Arsenal came at it was that he was actively trying to get rid of him or move him on. So it was never going to work. But the fact the likes of Bellerin and Xhaka are still here, I don't think it's a good sign for Arsenal. I just think it came to a point with some of these players at the football club, whether it be from the Xhaka representative's point of view, the Bellerin's representative point of view. We know Bellerin doesn't want to be here. We know he doesn't want to be here. We know Leno doesn't really want to be here. But we're in such a predicament and a mess that we're going to struggle to move them on. I mean, even Kolasinac hasn't even left yet properly. I mean, that tells you all you need to know. I mean, people give plaudits to sort of Edu and Arteta. I might read it wrong, you know, but the thing is, the likes of the Mustafi and the Ozils were always going to move on. It didn't matter who the manager was. I could be the manager of Arsenal. If the contracts are going to run out, they're not going to be Arsenal players. So I'm not going to, it sounds really harsh, but I'm not going to give the likes of Edu and the hierarchy praise and Arteta for players coming in is when that was the minimum requirement. You know, we finished 8th 2 seasons in a row. Of course, signings is a requirement. Like, I'm not going to pat you on the back for making the signing of Nuno Tavares or my namesake Albert Sambi Lokonga, or Ben White. You know, people might argue, well, Arsenal had the third best defensive record in the league, but we signed Ben White. I think we needed him anyway, to be honest. But guys, let me go in the chat, man. Let me stop chatting and show you guys some love. But let me go through some of the comments, man. Big up Shane, big contributor to the channel, man. Big up to you, Shane. Hi, Albert. My needs to sort in the game. Man City, PSG, Chelsea. Something needs to be done. It does, Shane. But you know what? If we did a podcast based on trying to sort out the problems in terms of financial fair play, Shane, what I will say to that, is, for me personally, I think Arsenal sections of the fan base, we make too many excuses. I'm not saying to you guys directly in the chat, but I do hear it a lot when I check my socials and I check my channel and I check obviously Instagram and Twitter and whatever ones are out there, Facebook groups and whatever. It's a COVID market. No one's spending. You know, we don't want to get bullied by other clubs. There's so many different reasons as to why Arsenal don't do business or don't do it quickly or don't do it effectively. It's rubbish. We can talk about Man City. We can talk about PSG. We can talk about Chelsea. Whatever these guys are doing to consistently get past FFP, good luck to them, because Arsenal ain't doing it. But then you can look at the other scale. And it's not so much about spending a king's ransom, but being savvy and being smart. Look at Villa's business. Look at Leicester's business. Was it Patson Daka, Bertrand, Boubakary Samor, Villa bringing Leon Bailey. You don't forget they bought Morgan Sanson last season. Don't forget to mention him. They've got John McGinn still there, obviously. He's a regular fixture. You've brought in Emi Buendia. Ollie Watkins has had a season behind him. They've brought in Danny Ings. There's rumours about James Ward-Prowse. They've already got Martinez there. Two excellent fullbacks in Matty Cash and Matt Target. Matty Cash and Matt Target, yeah, sorry. So you can be shrewd. It's not so much about breaking the king's ransom, but the problem we got is it's almost like the Cronkies have gone at 50 million for Ben White. Arsenal fans should be happy now. I generally think that. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. What we going? 27 minutes in. Mark Darby, big up to you, man. Massive contributor to the channel as always. Biggest problem is the massive contracts. Huge problem. And the size of the squad. We need to move on about 3 players to address the areas we need properly. We do, mate. I'll be honest. Obviously, I was at work when I was on the way home. And I saw the reports come out about Aaron Ramsdale. I don't know about you guys. I must admit, of all the links with Arsenal players this transfer window, the Ramsdale ones completely floored me. I did not see that coming. The only thing I will say is, because they say the deal's pretty close. I think they said 24 million. I think Chris Wheatley reported it probably 2-3 hours ago now. Ramsdale's had to play in front of 2 defenses in Sheffield United and Bournemouth, where defensively they're not great, obviously, because you can tell by the amount of goals they conceded. Who knows? Maybe Ramsdale in a better defense at Arsenal, and I use the word better loosely, may do better. But that is probably the one link that has kind of floored me sideways, because I don't think anybody saw that coming. I remember sort of last season with Bernd Leno, and I've got mixed feelings about Bernd Leno personally at Arsenal, but sort of to get to the point. Yeah, I was kind of lost my head about Bernd Leno. I was saying with Bernd Leno, people used to say, "Oh, he's the least of Arsenal's problems." Now it's gone from he's the least of Arsenal problems to we desperately need another goalkeeper coming. We talked about Onana. They talked about Matty Ryan. I think the issue with Matt Ryan, I would love Matt Ryan to stay, but I think his heart was set on being a number one. So he got the move to was it Real Sociedad in Spain? I believe he's injured actually at the moment, Matty Ryan, if that's true. But so I understood why. I know Arsenal were interested, but I understood why he probably didn't stay, even though he probably would have wanted to, but he probably knew that he wasn't going to dislodge Bern Leno. But yeah, it's mad, man. It's mad. How about your thoughts on Ben White and the 15 million price tag? Anthony, good question. I like to answer this one because I've kind of touched on it before, even during the Euros. You know what, Anthony, and to the people in the chat and people watching this live, I didn't have a problem. I didn't have a problem with the Ben White links. Not a problem at all. I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. Ben White's problem is he's English. It comes with a premium being an English player. That's not Ben White's problem. I think what Arsenal have done to Arsenal fans is they've turned them into accountants. So some players, even if they're linked with Arsenal, they cost 30 million, they cost 40 million, they cost 15 million. It's too much. It's too much. I know for a fact, and anyone can call me out on this, I don't care. If, for example, Ben White had gone to Liverpool, for example, and done amazingly well, Arsenal fans on Twitter would have had a meltdown. They would have been saying, why did we not get Ben White? Why did we not put up the money? We get linked with Ben White. He costs too much. And I think part of the problem was, I mean, I won't say I've sat here and watched Ben White religiously, but I've seen enough of him when he was on loan at Leeds, and I've seen enough of him at Brighton to say, you know what? Bring him in. And like I said at the start of the stream, I kind of made a conscious effort not to watch the friendlies against, was it Watford, Millwall, Rangers, Chelsea, and Spurs. But the Spurs one, I said, you know what? Let me just have a look and see what people have been complaining about, or what I need to see with my own two eyes. As I always say, the acid test. And let me see what I need to see. And in regards to Ben White, from what I've seen and what I saw on Sunday, he was always in key areas. He always put his head on the end of the ball. Wasn't rash. Comfortable with the ball at his feet. Brought the ball out. So Ben White will be a good signing. He's going to have to earn his money, man. He will do, because he's going to be overworked, man. Defensively is a worry. It's a worry because the way our midfield vacates and leaves our defense exposed. I saw it in the game against Chelsea at the Emirates. 1 ball, 2 against 1, just like that. 1 pass, crazy. But yeah, with the Ben White thing, I was on board personally. Arsenal fans whine and moaning about us buying Abraham. Jesus, we're a mid-table club. Who are they expecting us to buy? Messi and Haaland. That's the thing, Mark. You've hit the nail on the head. I mean, they want new recruits, but who realistically Arsenal going to get? And forget the argument about Europe, because you could have even argued the point, even if he's still in the Europa League. Who are Arsenal realistically going to get, man? Because either way, the fan base will never agree with each other, ever. We've got to let Willett go. We can't keep everyone just because they're a higher end. Yeah, we have to be ruthless, like Chelsea, for example, and cash in. That's the key thing, G. You know what? It doesn't even, you know what? Even if you part the Chelsea thing and the United thing to one side, Arsenal have forgotten the art of being ruthless. We are too sentimentally attached to some of these players, and I genuinely don't know why. Like I said, during the Euros, I find it a little bit embarrassing with the whole Xhaka thing. Oh, you know, he's had a good Euros and he was amazing against France. And the thing is, with international football, the reason why you can look $1 million or a little bit more than $1 million is because you get time and space. When you're allowed time and space, you can play. Simple facts. But yeah, the fan base, we argue too much about how much a player should cost, what we should pay. Look at the Buendia deal, for example. These are just my thoughts. You might think I'm talking complete rubbish. Arsenal were touted with this guy and were interested in this guy from January this year. Facts. They knew what they had to pay. They knew how much he was going to cost. Don't buy into the whole thing. Norwich don't have to let him go. He's playing well at Norwich. Double figures goals, double figures assists. Rubbish. Arsenal knew the price. But then the problem you've got is you've got fans going, oh, Arsenal didn't want to be bullied and pay add-on fees and sign. What are we talking about? Arsenal wanted this guy. If you don't want to pay the money to get him, no, if he doesn't want to come to Arsenal and you've done everything conceivable as a football club to try and bring a footballer in and he doesn't want to come for whatever reason, then fair play. Every Arsenal fan will agree with that, 100%, trust me. But the fact that you was interested in him and, you know, pulling the wool over Arsenal's eyes to make it seem like, oh, we didn't want to be bullied and paying over the odds. What are you talking about? We just bought Ben White. Yes, then we're not paying the £50 million up front. Let's get that right. But the Bindia one, listen, if Arsenal really wanted him, listen, you got Gazump by Villa. So, yeah. There she is. There she is. Holly's my, I know she's Tottenham, but she's my bestie, man. Love Holly. Sorry, I'm late. I've been at the Agon Bar and I'm about to eat my Macca's. Catch up later. It's funny. Very funny. What are we in? We are 36 minutes in. Wow. Won't be a long one, guys, because I am starving like Marvin. But big up to you guys in the chat. Like I say, man, can't do this YouTube content without the viewers and the engagement. We need Maddison, a right back, a quality striker, and a good goalkeeper. That is a shopping list that which I think very much every Arsenal fan has and has had since the end of last season and over the course of the Euros and over the course of the Copa America. Every Arsenal fan has had that shopping list, but I'm not sure them goods will be met. I've had many people say that. Obviously, we've got till the end of August for the transfer window, but do I think Arsenal will bring more players in? I think we will get at least one more in. We need two more in. There's a lot more surgery that needs, and again, it's not going to happen within this window. But my thing is, how many windows do you give it to give to Mikel Arteta? That's the question. That is the question. Yes, Gary. Arsenal math. Martinez 20 million, Ramsdale 25. It is madness. I mean, they're talking about 30 million for Ramsdale. That's the one. I'll be honest with you, and this is nothing personal against Aaron Ramsdale, right? But that is the one signing I did not see come out of any Arsenal fans' mouths. Ainsley, Reece, Nketiah, Elneny, Bellerin, and Kola should all be moved on. Yeah. You know what is Mark? You just touched on it. I had this conversation. Big up RJ if you're watching, bro. And I said to him, there's one Arsenal player more than anybody that I cannot believe is still at this football club. And that's Elneny. More than anybody. And that might surprise people to hear me turn and say that, but I'm being deadly serious. I cannot believe Mohamed Elneny is still at this football club. Unbelievable. You know what, Mark? It could happen. People have been warning about this for years with Arsenal fans. Even before I did YouTube, they said, look, we can talk about top four. We can talk about Champions League. We can talk about catching the likes of City and Liverpool and Chelsea. You can throw Tottenham in there. Don't pay me to say that a little bit. But we have to look what's behind us, man. And that was the likes of Leicester at the time and Wolves and Everton and Villa. They're coming. They're coming thick and fast. And we're in trouble. We're in trouble. I think if Arsenal not in the top six by Xmas, Arteta should go. Anthony, I'm not sure he's going to get that long. When I look at our fixtures, wow. There's three winnable games. There's 3 games I don't think will pick up points. So 9 out of 18 is a minimum. 10. 9, 10 points minimum. Yeah, you know what? He's Robin. Listen, I think the problem with some Arsenal fans, and I've said this before, is I obviously don't know every Arsenal fan. Obviously, I'm not sure what football they watch outside of watching Arsenal. I think that was partly to do with probably the attitude towards Ben White. Personally, that's what I would say. What you make of Edu going on holiday, going on 3 holidays this window? I know we can't judge him until window closes, but I do think we'll do some big moves, big things still in transfers. Shane, like I said, I can see. I'll be honest with you, I haven't a clue what positions they'll come in, but I think there'll be one more that will come in. I think there'll be one more that will come in. I think maximum I'd like to see two more come in, but one more will come in. But I'd also like to see, listen, I think Ainsley needs to be moved on, Nelson needs to be moved on, Nketiah needs to be moved on, and Bellerin needs to be moved on. Whatever money you get for those guys, take it. We cannot be turning our nose up at any income coming in. Any. I think they see it as part of the club's character. Arsenal market themselves as a family club. Jesus. I'm going to touch on something, guys. It's a bit left field. I put this in the chat when I was watching the same old Arsenal show on Monday. And guys, if you know me personally, or the time you've known me in the last year and a bit, I love my sport. I love Arsenal, obviously, watching football, whatever. But I love my sport. Massive cricket fan, massive tennis fan, man, golf fan. But we just recently had the Olympic Games. I'd like to know what you guys' thoughts are. Drop in the chat. And I would say probably from about 2012, actually. Rio 2016, obviously, what we saw in Tokyo in 2020. And some of the performances, some of the things I witnessed, the probably one of the most emotional games I've seen. I must admit. Maybe that's down to the fact of the last 18 months. I was so emotionally engaged with the athletes. The way they spoke, the emotion, the successes, even some of the guys that got silver and bronze medals that were disappointed. As somebody that was watching some of these guys on screen, I felt emotionally connected to these guys. I saw some breathtaking performances. I saw performances that made me emotional. I saw performances that made me feel connected with people that were sports that I've only seen once every 4 years. I'm a big athletics fan. Some of the performances I saw from Team Gene B were mind blowing, above and beyond, world class, reaching your potential, reaching your maximum. And I take a step back and I see what's happening with Arsenal. And I'm not just talking about last season. I'm talking about probably the last 4 or 5 years of Wenger. We come into Emery. We come into Arteta currently now. That emotional attachment, that engagement is not there. And it hasn't been for years. And it pains me to say that. I'm not sure, as an Arsenal fan as myself and you guys in the chat and people watching this back when they watch and listen to it on Spotify and Anchor, on YouTube, Facebook Live, I'm not sure when our football club is going to give us that emotional attachment and connection again. And that is a sad, sad indictment of our football club on and off the pitch. Guys, I'll leave it to you in the chat to say what you want to say to that. I'm not sure when we'll get that feeling again. Yes, we'll have a love for Arsenal. Yes, we'll talk about Arsenal on Twitter and Instagram amongst you guys. When you drop in the chat and you press the like button and you subscribe to the channel. We go to the games. We might pick and choose the games we go to, but it's sad to say that emotional connection. It's not so much about the good old days of George Graham and the first 10 years of Wenger and Vieira and Henry and Ian Wright and Bergkamp. It's looking at your team and feeling proud of them. It's looking at your team and thinking, wow, what What have I just witnessed? What an amazing 90 minutes. What a comeback. What great play from our left back. Or look how our midfield were like warriors today. I don't think we speak about Arsenal like that anymore. And we don't, because our own set of eyes don't lie to us. And I always say that's the acid test. You can sit here and talk about formations. You can sit here and talk about tactics. You can sit here and talk about the managers. It's a culmination of different things, obviously, but as a football club, we're lost, man. Um, I went to the protest. Everybody had their reasons for why they could come or couldn't come. That's fair play. I'm not going to sit here and criticize people. I saw a lot of noise and a lot of movement on social media, but that wasn't reflected at the protests. We had it for once where the fans proudly came together for the home game against Everton, but it almost felt like their work was done that night and that was it. We thought we might get the momentum for the last home game of the season against Brighton. I obviously, I did a live stream that day, like many people did. Big up the YouTubers that were there that day and the people that actually went. But the weather was awful. But is that a good reason not to turn up? Listen, you can't force people to come out of the house. I saw more people having energy to buy the new kit than to protest in the last home game against Brighton. The Arsenal fan base is quite fractious, as you guys would have seen, just by social media alone. I don't ever expect the fan base to ever totally come together, but it needs to be better than what it has been for the last 5 to 10 years. And it's too fractious. Like I said, I generally think and feel that some care more about the players and their needs and how they feel than what's best for Arsenal Football Club to move forward and to get back to being a team that is competitive, that is not ridiculed by rival football fans, and we're not just a meme club. I can laugh and joke with anybody, but the problem is with our club is that it's viewed as a banter club. And obviously with the Amazon documentary that's going to come out, do I think it's a good thing? Not really. Will I watch it? I said I wouldn't. Who knows? I might do. Who knows? Toss of a coin. Who knows? But guys, I'm going to wrap up soon. I want to big up to you guys in chat. Seriously, man, the chat's been lively. Thank you for coming back. This has been my first live stream for quite a long time, actually. I think my last Arsenal content on my channel would have been the away Premier League game to Newcastle where we won 2-0, which is a long time ago. I was on the Canon Chatter show a few weeks ago. I was also during the Euros, and I was obviously on the same one, Arsenal, not Monday, just gone the one before that. But other than that, I haven't spoken about Arsenal because I thought I'd just let people get on with it and talk about them. And I'll add my 2 pennies worth when the time is right. But guys, big up to you, man, in the chat. But yeah, get your virtual waves goodbye in the hugs because I'm going to wrap up soon. Whose comment is that? Let me go through the chat. Jacko's one good game against Italy, and the rest he was average. James, big up to you, mate. How are you, mate? I'm good. I'm keeping well. First live stream back after a few months, mate. After the Brentford game, we have Chelsea, then after at Man City. Hopefully, get 3 points after the first. Mate, we need to. Needs must. The fans are back in the stadium now. Mikel Arteta was a very fortunate man last season. That's what I will say. He did say he would be backed. He said he would be backed. He said he would be backed. Questions have to be asked. I watched United against Everton and watched us against Spuds on Sunday. They look on a different planet to us. Yeah, I watched that Arteta game. I watched that game on Sunday. That was a little bit of a worry. And I'm being polite by saying a little bit. Albert, do you think Arteta should quit and take up Tiddlywinks? Rich, big up to you, mate. United fan, tuned in. Thank you. Thank you, mate. A few years. Could be a lot longer, mate. I don't see the appetite that you expect from athletes playing at the top Premier League. Yeah, appetite's a big word, Robin, man. Yeah, just a thing I thought. Like I said, I'm a big fan of the Olympics, mate. It does something to you as emotionally as a viewer, watching people perform at their peak and at the highest level and being successful. And I just don't have that attachment when it comes to Arsenal. And it sounds sad to say, but it's very, very true. And I'm sure I'm not alone in that. Are you getting fed up with energy being directed towards Arteta in, Arteta out? Guys, I'm going to wrap up. Big up, Tracy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. It was a tough day in the office. I hadn't put the training in. My endurance and my stamina wasn't there as it would normally be. So I got around safely. But I'm going to end the stream, guys. But I'm going to end it with the last bit talking about Arteta and sort of my thoughts. Because people have asked me a lot about it in the last 8 months. And I've kind of kept it along the same even keel, really. So yeah, final points. Arteta, I'll go back to sort of last season when we had that horrendous run before we turned it around against Chelsea on Boxing Day at home. And I said that sort of that run we had that was so horrendous. I said if Arteta makes it into the new year, which he obviously did anyway, but at the time, I said he'd be very lucky to make it into the new year because the results were that poor that any manager, whether you're inexperienced or experienced, you shouldn't have a job because the form was that bad. The results were that bad. The defeats were that bad. The football was hard to watch, man. It wasn't even that great before the COVID, before that happened, before the last home game against West Ham. Was it March 7th last year at the Emirates, which wasn't great then. A lot of draws. But with Arteta, I sort of put it towards because there's a lot of I never really got caught up in the Arteta out. I always just said, look, we're in a results business with managers or head coaches. If you're not getting the results, you will be moved on. But that doesn't happen at Arsenal. You could say it happened with Unai Emery, but with Arteta, he seems to be, a cat with 9 lives, 10 lives, whatever. But I just think I don't know where the energy comes from with some of the Arteta faithfuls in the Arsenal fan base as to why he should be given more time. He's not been in the job 5 minutes. I think he spoke well when he first came into the job, but when I hear him talk now, I just think he talks in riddles. And he comes across a little bit to me now when he talks, in a sense that I'm not sure whether I believe you or not, or whether you're being truthful. That's the impression I get. To me, even if you strip everything back and the COVID situation and the money not being available and what's happened in the last 18 months, if you strip something back, sorry, if you take 2 8th place finishes in the league, it's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. And I just think what it is because he's come from Man City working under Pep Guardiola. If Mikel Arteta had come to Arsenal working under, for example, Roy Hodgson, I think probably about 50% of that Arsenal fan base that are in favour of him, that backing wouldn't be there. They see the Pep style, they see what Pep's done, they see the Amazon documentary and Arteta being influential from what people tell me. But that's one thing being the number 2 at Man City. There's been some amazing number 2 coaches in football. Steve McLaren, Brian Kidd, Paul Clement. Exceptional number 2s. Didn't cut it as number 1s. Yes, McLaren had that spell in Eredivisie in Holland where he won the league with is it FC Utrecht, is it? But I hear a lot of people go, oh, you know what, Arteta's going to be an amazing coach. He's going to be fantastic. And I'm like, but the thing is, even if he goes on to be an amazing coach, I'm like, yeah, and you're not going to get brownie points from Twitter. You're not going to get money paid into your account from Instagram and Twitter because you think he's going to be a good coach. That's kind of beside the point. I think what it is, people want to do that thing where they'll dredge up tweets from 2 years ago or 18 months ago and go, oh, CC, I told you he's going to be a fantastic coach. And you're like, well, okay, but what do you get for being right? Nothing. You just proves that you've been right. It's almost like it's that wanting to be right. And I don't have time for that, man. But guys, we have come to the end. Guys, thank you again for your amazing support as always. Anthony, thank you, bro. Let me go through some of the comments. Mark Green, he will live and die on his transfer decisions. Yes, and to finish up before I go, I've said this story a million times before. RJ, big up to you, man. I'm going to finish up with saying what I said before. Mark touched on what Mark said about Arteta will live and die by his decisions. I've said this many times before, and I'm very happy to keep saying it. I talk about that documentary a lot with Patrick Vieira and Roy Keane and Gabriel Clark asking Patrick Vieira the question about Wenger. What is his greatest strength and greatest weakness? And Vieira had the same answer for both questions. And he said, trust. And I've said it through various points of last season. Mikel Arteta is doing the very thing which Wenger did for many, many years, is that you're putting your trust into a group of players who you would have previously had seen have let down two previous managers. Yes, it's good to trust players and to give them a chance, but not with the same group of players that haven't got us Champions League football for more than 5 years. Facts. That's the problem. So, guys, that is me. Over and out. Big up to you guys. Thank you once again, man. Great interaction. And yeah, I wasn't expecting it. It's been a long time, like I said, man. Big up to RJ, Mark Green, Holly Agambar, Georgina, Robin, Rich Sports was in there. Big up to all of you guys, man. But as I always say, if you don't know what to do, this is what you should do by now. And there you have it once again, people. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for getting me to 700 plus. Thank you for your donations for my London Landmarks Half Marathon run. And thank you for your general love and support for the channel and for staying engaged as long as you do. Wow, 57 minutes in. So yeah, guys, I will be back tomorrow doing my first hosting gig on the Same Old Arsenal Thursday preview show, because obviously Arsenal playing Brentford on Friday. Looking forward to it. Them guys have welcomed me to the Same Old Arsenal family amazingly. So much love to those guys. Thank you for the opportunities. And yeah, roll on to 800, 900, 1K subscribers, on and on. So guys, that is me, Albert J TV, over and out. #live Q&A.